Hello my friends, welcome to another exciting episode in our tutorial series. In our last video, I talked about how Affinity Studio is a game changer. I also talked about the powerful image trace. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about every tools inside of the Affinity Studio. If you've not subscribed to my channel, now is the best time to hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on the post notifications so that you don't miss any of the videos I will drop anytime from now. Without having to say much, let's jump right into this. So like the first thing here, this is the interface. This is my interface. The first tool here I'll be talking about is the move tool, right? So just like the name implies, this tool is the navigator you use to navigate, and you can also use to move panels. These are the panels. I'm making a separate video explaining the panels, and you can also use it to navigate between the menu and every other thing here. You can also use it to navigate between the pixel, which is like the Photoshop part of this application, or the layout, which is like the publisher aspects. Then of course the Canva AI, and of course any other studio you choose to create alongside what you have by default, right? It is also used to select tools. Like this is the rectangle now, and I can choose to remove the outline and give it the color like this, as you can see. And I can also use to move shapes around, vector shapes around, vector or pixels as the case may be. You can see, and I can also use this to also resize. I'm using still on the move tool, and I can also use this to rotate an object just like this, right? You can go 360 clockwise or counterclockwise, right? So this is basically what you can use it to do, and you can also use it to navigate. The next tool I'll be talking about here is the artboard tool, right? So if you're somebody that likes creating for social media, or you're a brand identity designer, this tool comes in handy, right? You might have used it from your past software using Illustrator, or yes, you can create artboards by just clicking on this plus, clicks on top, or you can choose to draw your artboard manually, right? So it gives you this freedom to draw your artboards manually, just like this, the way I'm doing this, right? And of course, you can have several contents on different pages. I'm going to make a duplicate copy of this, and I'm going to have it here, just showing you how flexible this can be, right? And you can change the color. Also, you can change the color of your artboard. I mentioned that in the first video when I did the overview of the application itself, so you can go back to watch the first video, and of course I covered a couple of things using this application itself, right? So I'm just going to bring this down. I'm just going to take all of this and change the color. I'm loving the color wheel inside here. So I can even rename my artboard by clicking on this, and I'll just simply rename this. It's going to be my artboard, right? So immediately it's going to change. You can see that it has changed, right? So this is right. So you can rename your artboards. It's flexible and all of that. So you can see that each element are represented inside of the artboard. So if you want to edit, you can click on the elements like this and make changes to it, right? And close this up if you don't need it. I'm going to click on this, click on all of this. You can delete your artboard by simply clicking on this delete and delete objects too. So you're left with one artboard here like this. And of course, if you say you don't want it to be an artboard, just want it to be a regular document, right? I'm going to delete, and this is how you do it. You right click on it, or you can use the delete button that I used in the first place. And since I don't want to delete everything, I'm just going to say keep my object. You can see it's no more a artboard, it's now a document file, right? So you can go on and work with this. Clear? Good. So let's go on. So the next one is the node tool, right? So I'm going to select this. To make this active, I'm going to convert the shape to curve. So I'm going to right click on it, and of course convert to curve. And of course you can see now I can now play with the node. That's why it's called node tool. So I can now create another shape out of this by just moving the nodes around and simply manipulating them. So it's like your shape bending, right? So this is what you use your node to do. Of course, you can add nodes and remove nodes. Just click on it to delete the node, or double click on the line to also add the node that you want to add, right? So this is what you can use the node to do, right? So yeah, so you can actually click on a point and actually make it curved. Like you can see, this is curved, right? You can actually make it curved, or you can simply add some extra node. Like I mentioned, you can add a node by double clicking, or you can convert that node to a line, or you can even delete that by clicking delete. You can select this point here, make it a line, select this point here, make it a straight line. You can see it's now a straight line. You can do the same thing to this point also. So I'm going to select both node, hold down shift and make it a line, so it's no longer a curve again like it used to be before. So these are the simple way you can use to manipulate your objects. Now this is very straightforward. So you can use this to rotate, and you can use this to rotate, like I said, and you can even use to scale an object up, right? So it works hand in hand with the node 2, right? So you can use to move, and you can just use to select, and basically that's what it does, right? And this here is the corner tools, right? So you can see that you have information of every tool the moment you hover around it or you click on it. Now I'm going to use it to have rounded corners like this. So if you want to create rounded corners inside of Affinity Studio, this is what you can use. And of course, this tool comes in handy. You can select all the nodes and you can take them inside like this, making them rounded corners like this. Easy peasy. I can make something out of this. Let me just try and play around with this. I can flip this and make something out of it. And let me not get too carried away. So basically, you have your rounded corners using your rounded corner tool. Right, great. So I'm going to delete this, and still going to leave this. The next one I'm talking about here is the contour tool, right? So it is simply used to create contours out from existing objects. You can see I'm having this color, but it's not going to change now if I use this ones here. So to make that happen, I'm just going to go over to let's see, go over and select my triangle tool. And I'm going to draw a triangle like this, and I'm going to go back to my contour tool to show you exactly what I mean. So when I take this out, I'm adding a contour to this. I can decide which edge I want. I can have a straight pointed edge, but I can have this kind of edge. So whichever one works for you, you can use it. And of course, it comes in handy when you're trying to create logos, or you're trying to make something out of your vector shapes. The next one here is the OG of the community, which is the pen tool, right? So the pen tool, let me control Z this, shouldn't be like this. So the pen tool, I'll get back to that. The pen tool can be used to draw lines and create shapes like this. I'm just going to really create some weird shapes. And of course, this is with the help of the pen tool, right? And I would always say this, the pen tool would always be in any application that you're trying to use, depending on if it's really a design software. So you should know how to use the pen tool. I'm going to make a separate video about using the pen tool, of course, inside of Affinity Studio, right? So not only can you use it to draw straight lines, you can use it to draw curved lines. By clicking and dragging, you have a curved line like this, right? You can then decide to continue with the line, or you can close it up and continue, or you can just continue with it. And using your node tool, you can use to edit this and just make it the way you want it to be, just like this. And there you have it, easy peasy. You can also use it to draw curved line like this, and keep drawing until, let me remove this, so it's just the outline, right? So you can keep drawing curves line like this by just clicking and dragging, and close it up when you're done and fill it with color like this. And of course, everybody goes home happy. All right, easy peasy. And let me edit this. I need just a stroke. I don't need the fill color. Okay guys, let's move on then. The next one I would like to talk about here is the pencil tool. Just like the pencil, you literally have a pencil, so you can use this to draw lines like this, and of course straight lines holding down the shift key, right? So when you hold down the shift key and you draw, it's going to create straight lines like this, and like this, right? So Ctrl Z all of this, and of course I hope you understand how that is going. And you can also draw curve lines like this, which you can further edit or increase the stroke line like this and edit with the node. And you can pretty shape things around using the nodes too. And you get the best out of what you have just created. And you can see it's a vector file, right? It's not pixelating. You can scale and scale and scale. It's going to retain its form. So the next thing I want to talk about here is the path brush tool, right? So this is like a brush, like this is like a brush inside of Affinity Studio, right? So you have different brushes. These are path brushes that you can select. If you don't like that, you don't like how that is, you can use other brushes like this. Now this comes in handy depending on what you are actually doing. You can use it for your designs also, right? So this is the path brush. And the next one here is the knife tool. Now to illustrate this, I'm just going to draw a rectangle here. I'm going to click, of course I'm going to toggle off the stroke, and I want just the fill. Good. So I'm going back to select the knife tool, right? And I'm just going to make sure you have this selected. You can now have cuts like this. And what I'm just doing here is I'm dissecting this rectangle like this. So I can now take this aside, bring this aside, and change the colors of these individual shapes like this. Select this one, also change the color like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, and you're good to go. Okay, right? So you can also use a knife. Why did you flip? Okay, corrected that. So you can also use a knife to make straight cuts. Hold down your shift, and of course you can cut the shape like this into two halves on a straight line like this. Then you can choose to change the color just like this, and there you go, easy peasy, right? So that's the knife tool. I can choose to want to dissect this further, and select my knife tool, hold down your shift key and drag like this. You can see I have separated this also, right? So it's very, very easy to use, and it comes in handy when you are creating brand guidelines. If you are a logo designer, you should know how to use that also. Now to illustrate the next tool, I'm going to use let me draw stroke like this. I'm going to get rid of the fill color. I do not need this for this exercise. All right, that's not correct. Ctrl Z. And okay, so let me reduce the stroke here, and I'm just going to draw this simple line. Okay, that's too small. Let me increase this like this. Okay, so to explain the next tool, right, it's pretty simple. You just can manipulate the width of an outline using this tool, right? So you can move up and down like this, and of course at any point you can increase or decrease the width, right? So the stroke width tool comes in handy, and to increase or decrease the width of any outline. So the next one, to illustrate this, I'm going to have a shape here, and I'm going to select this. This is the fill tool, guys, and If you have used other softwares before, designing softwares, you hear about the gradient tool, and this works just like the gradient tool, right? So this is basically a version of the gradient tool inside of CorelDraw, and of course, I don't know what's called inside of Illustrator, but then you can click on the points and change the color to create nice gradients out of any shape you have. You can double click on the straight line to add the points, and you can give it, you can move the points, and you can change the color like this. This is chaotic. Okay, I'm working with this. I'm not still okay with this. Let me come back to this and make it a darker shade. Okay, I think I'm good with this, and I can increase this up, and I can draw from any angle. I can draw from top to bottom like this, and any way that works for you is actually good. So that's about the fill. Now the transparency tool is very, very easy to use also. Now you can use to hide the part of a vector or of a picture that you don't want to see, right? So let me illustrate this well. So let me draw this. I'm going to use just colors, not gradient this time. So I'm going to use the transparency tool. For instance, I don't want this part to be visible, so I can just draw from black to white. Black conceals while white reveals, right? So have that in mind. So I'll be talking about that. So this is the rectangle tool. Under the rectangle tool, you have various shapes that you can use for the designs and everything, right? So this is quite important. You can see you have these tools even to your barcodes and everything. So you can use all of this for your designs also, right? Like I said, so to draw a perfect shape, make sure you hold down your shift when you're trying to draw them so that you don't compress them or make something funny out of them, right? Now to further manipulate this, you can convert them to curve. Do not forget this. This is how you can gain full advantage over this tool such as this, or select all the nodes and use your rounded corner tool to make them rounded corners like this, and easy peasy, then you're good to go. Okay, so I'll just select all of this and boom, hit the delete. Let's move on to the next tool. So the next tool I will be using is, or I'll be explaining, is the shape builder. Now to explain the shape builder tool, I have a couple of guys here. I'm just going to adjust this, increase the stroke width like this, and select everything and bring it inside here while I make it bigger like this. Of course, these are ellipse or circles, right? I have 3 circles here, right, stacked up inside one another and arranged well. So I'm just going to highlight everything, and with your shape builder tool, just like shape builder, it's just like the way you have it. If you've used Illustrator before, you can actually use it to build shapes like this. I can plus this and can add this to this to create one shape, and add this to this to create one shape, right? So I can then go on to give them separate colors. And if you're familiar with Adobe Illustrator, you know that this is also part of what makes it fun as a logo designer, right? So it's here for you, and of course the software is free, so there's nothing really holding you back from achieving that level of creativity that you want to achieve, right? So highlight all of this, and of course I hope you understand this, so I'm going to delete this. The next one here is the vector flood fill tool. Now I'm looking for a best way to explain this. Let me give this an outline and remove the fill. So I'm going to have a couple of this rectangle shapes. So I'm just going to duplicate this. To duplicate this, make sure you are holding down Control or you hold down Alt while you're moving around. That's exactly what I'm doing here, right? So, or you can use your Ctrl J to duplicate. You can duplicate in so many ways. So I want to select all of them, and I'm going to click on Vector Flood Fill. Click on this part, click on this part, or rather, I'm not going to click on that part. I'm just going to click on just this part alone. And I'm going to change the color of the fill while on the tool, and I'm going to click on this part. Now what this does is I have successfully broken down and I've created shapes out by just filling the intersection of these shapes, right? Now what you notice is that the original rectangles, they stay intact, but based on the fill, that's what works. So that's exactly what it does. The next one is the artistic text, right? So it's just simple. This is the basic text you have inside any other program that you've used before. So I can go up here and make changes to the text by clicking on the bold, makes it bold, of course, just like your basic text. And of course, inside here you have your recent, you have your used, and your favorites. Now you can add a font to your favorites by just clicking on it and clicking on this love sign, like I love it, and it becomes a favorite. So you can actually just click on your font and just click on your favorite fonts, and voila, you make use of them. So basically this is the artistic text. Now the next one is the frame text. Sorry about that, Ctrl Z, and I'm just going to do that again. So select the frame text. So you can actually right click and insert filler text. So this is going to be good if you are if you are creating like some other things, right? So you can easily just put this aside, and you have all of this going on for yourself, right? So you can just fill it with text, and of course it comes in handy when you're trying to create, and of course you're working with some files that you may be interested in. So the next one I want to talk about here is the frame. Also, you can use this with shapes, so just use insert filler, and of course it has added it to the frame, so you can use any shape and of course add it to it. And of course I can use lines also, and using my artistic text I can type on the line like this, right? So these are several ways that you can make this happen for yourself. So creativity, and boom, you have that working for you, right? So you can change the size of the text, you can change your fonts, and of course you can also move this around. Let me see, let me highlight. I can move this around on the path like this, and change the size by highlighting it. That's going to change the size like this, and when you click out, you're not going to see a line which we use for the paths unless you click on the text. That's when you're going to see it, right? So easy peasy. The next one is the place to. So you can easily navigate to where you have your file you want to place. For instance, I want to place this. I'm just going to now define how I want to place this file by, of course, clicking and dragging like this. You can see I've placed the file. But I love using the drag and drop options, so you can use this also, but then I love using this drag and drop option like this, and just simply selecting what I want to select, and just dragging it inside like this. Makes life easy. So I'm talking about the next tool now, which is the crop. So of course this tool doesn't need any introduction. You use it to crop like this. And if you want to get a cute passport photograph of yourself, and you want to make this yourself from your existing pictures, and of course send it to a website, you can come here and simply use the crop tool to just do what you want to do, and make several copies of it, and print them yourself. Wow. Okay, so the measure tool is simply basic. Let me fill this with color and remove the outline. Move the outline, and let me go back and select the measure tool. So I can choose to measure this. You can see it's giving me the right size for this. In terms of width, I can do the same thing to the height and get the same thing. And of course, this just gives me the parameters for the particular shape. You can see everything up here. And I don't know if I'll ever use this because I have nothing to do with it exactly. So it's just there. I'm just going to be looking at it, and you know what? So let me use this to illustrate, make this smaller, and good. Okay, if you know him, well, good for you. So I'm just going to use this to color picker. I'm talking about the color picker, so I can use this to sample. Something is not right. Oh, it's adding it to the outline. Oh, so okay, yeah, have to get used to this. We have to get used to this. So only the fill, please. So select your color picker tool, and you can use it to change the color based on what you are selecting on your subject. So I can select any color from the jersey here, and of course I'm already, so this is a way you can actually select colors from your from elements, from, you can set for pictures, from anything around you, basically using this, right? So just click on it, make sure the destination is selected, and just use the color picker to also do this, and simple like that. So I'm going to have an outline here to explain this next tool. Yeah, let me just go ahead and draw this. I think you get what I'm trying to say here. Remove this. Okay, so let's say I need the, okay, and this is quite different. I remove the outline, change the color. Okay, so let's say I need the features of this shape, right? I'm going to select the style picker tool, and I'm just going to select this first, select style picker tool, and select the style that I want, and voila, it's going to apply this same style on this. Okay, so let's move on. The next tool I'll be talking about is the pan tool, right? So you can use this to pan around. It's just a hand that's just, but you can use it when you're just by just pressing on your space bar and moving things around. Easy peasy. The next one is the zoom tool, right? So you can use to zoom into your vectors, your pixels, and it comes in quite handy, right? You can use the zoom, and of course zooming in and zooming out shouldn't be an issue. And if you're using, of course most times I do not use this, I use my scroll wheel. So if your scroll wheel doesn't zoom in, you should change your settings here. So go over to settings, and it should be under tools. Okay, yeah, so this is it. So make sure this is turned on, and I'm just going to click on close like this, and everybody goes home happy basically. So Affinity Studio also gives you the opportunity to customize your toolbox by adding any of these tools here, or by selecting any of these tools, or by arranging these tools the way you want to arrange them yourself, right? So you have flexibility, and whenever you feel you've made a mess, you can also reset the tools to default, right? So basically part of this is your stroke and fill. So you can press D on your keyboard to revert them to the defaults, just like you have in Photoshop, and press X to navigate between the fill color and the stroke color, right? Alright guys, so if you've enjoyed this video, if you find this helpful, support the channel by clicking the like button. You can share and drop your comments of which videos that you want me to make about Affinity Studio, and I'll see you in the next video. Just help more. Ciao.